Already regrets coming outside, okay. Bonjour mon petit chauffeur, Amber here, and we are outside. What? I wanted to do this on the first day of fall, but here we are in the second week of fall. But it's okay because the weather is beautiful today, so we're going to take advantage of it. I don't know if you can hear me, so I'm just going to try to project. Anywho, like I said, I wanted to do this on the first day of fall. We are in my favorite, officially in my favorite time of year, the most wonderful time of the year. Oh, I didn't think I'd make it. I didn't think I'd make it to fall 2020, but here we are. Is it?
Yes.
I've just been informed it's still the first week of fall. So anyway, being that it's fall, it's the spooky season, it's cozy season, I'm thriving. I wanted to sit down and talk about some of the books that I really would love to read this fall, this spooky season. Am I going to get around to all of them? No. But here's a list nonetheless. This isn't like an official TBR or anything. I'm going to film that later. These are just books that capture the vibe that I'm vibing with at this time of year, the most wonderful time of the year. Anywho, first and foremost is a book that I have been putting off since, I think it came out at the beginning of this month. September, August, doesn't matter. I think August, because I was going to read it in August, and then there's a monarch butterfly. I've kind of fallen into like a mini slump. I haven't read in almost a week. I've put down 2 books. Anyway, that's not the point. The first book that I really, really want to read this fall, this spooky season, is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. I've heard nothing but incredible things about this book. I mean, it's giving me sort of like the Crucible or Scarlet Letter vibes, but with some black girl magic entwined. All I really, really know about this book is that it follows our main character, Emmanuel. She's been raised in this very devout religious community. That is, I think they're bordered by the woods where a coven of witches inhabits or something like that. She finds out that her mother had ties with the witches. I think she runs away from this community, and the prophet, is that what he's called? Yeah, it says her very existence is blasphemy. Her mother's union with an outsider of a different race, so she's biracial, cast her once proud family into disgrace, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, some mishap lures her into the forbidden wood or whatever, and I think she finds this coven and learns a lot about her mother's past and her family and the prophet and all of that. So it's going to be dark and atmospheric, I think, and just everything that I need for this time of the year. So speaking of witches, this next book is another one that just recently came out earlier this month. It's a sequel to one of my favorite books of last year, and it's Blood and Honey by Shelby Maherne, which is the sequel to Serpent and Dove. I love that book so much. Serpent and Dove follows Lou, who is a witch on the run and in hiding, and Reed, who is a royal holy chasseur, which are basically witch hunters for the church. Once another mishap leads them to be married. So this is like an enemies to lovers romance. It's very romance heavy, which I don't mind. Some people minded that with the first book. I don't care. I love their relationship. I love Lou. I love my Virgo King, Reed, and I know a lot of people call him a misogynist, but I think it was intentional. I think that's part of his character arc, like growth. Why don't we accept that some characters are going to have problematic elements to their character, and then whatever, growth people. So anyway, I'm so excited to see what happens next, what shenanigans these two get up to with this book, and the rest of the characters. I love Coco and Ansel, and I can't wait to see more of them, especially since I think there's going to be more of outside of Lou stakes are higher, there's more danger. I know there's sort of like a battle type situation coming. I also really love that this is a French inspired world. Another thing people had issues with, but if you know me, I mean, I intro every video in French, so this is my whole vibe. So the next book that is very high on my fall TBR. I forgot to bring it outside with me, so I'm going to insert it here. And it's The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. I don't remember a ton about this book, but Brody over at Etu Brody has been raving about this book. I know that the author is indigenous. I know that it is sort of like another like atmospheric horror movie book. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. Oh, it's right here. Okay. It says Adam Neville's The Ritual meets Leanne Moriarty's Big Little Lies in this atmospheric gothic literary horror. 10 years ago, 4 young men shot some elk and went on with their lives. It happens every year. It's been happening forever. It's the way it's always been. But this is different. This time it's different. 10 years after that fateful hunt, these men are being stalked themselves. Soaked with a powerful gothic atmosphere, the endless expanses of the landscape press down on these men and their children as the ferocious spirit comes for them one at a time. I just read Nature's Revenge. Yes, please sign me up. Yes. So, those are like the top ones. And some other books, spookier books that I want to get around to this fall, Halloween time. The first one I just picked up. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Another one I don't really know a lot about, but I really love the cover. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I think this one is another sort of like thriller situation. I think it involves a woman's in a book club, a true crime book club. She meets this guy, and I think like there's suspicion that he might be a serial killer. Another one that I forgot to bring out with me is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. That one is like a ghost story type situation. I think the main character's father wrote like this best-selling like horror novel, and I don't remember. I think it like she moves into like the house that it's based off of or takes place in. It's kind of like Amityville, sort of. At least that's what I got from it. So I've never read a Riley Sager book, but I am really, really interested in that book. I love a ghost story. Yeah. Next, another one I picked up very recently, but I've been highly anticipating since I first heard about it, and it's Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesare. This one gives me meets Children of the Corn vibes, and I'm very much here for it. I think the main character and her father move into this tiny, weird town. It's kind of like been failing. The adults blame the teens, but the teens blame the adults. And then there's like this killer clown, I believe. It says, because if your opponents all die, you win the debate by default. Yeah. I don't ask for much. Tiny, creepy town, homicidal clown. Actually, that's the stuff of nightmares. I used to actually be really afraid of clowns when I was little. And this also reminded me, I said, tiny, creepy town. It made me think of driving through Hershey in the middle of the night. I don't recommend it, for the record. Especially because the last time we rode through Hershey in the middle of the night, I spotted a Confederate flag. And I was like, I would very much like to be home right now. So, the last of like the spooky books is the September Owlcrate book. So this is like the first I'm really hearing about it, but a lot of these books involve people moving. Is that a sign? Please God. Not to like any creepy killer towns, but I just like to move. It's Horrid by Katrina Leno. I love this cover. I really want the original cover also because the roses are black. Excuse me, I'm filming. It could be an emergency. Life or death emergency. It better be. Anyway, it just really gives more into that gothic feel. all I really know is that the main character and her mother moved to her mother's old house, old dilapidated house, after her father dies. And I think she finds this old room that I think was like some was it like a murdered child's room or something like that? She thought it was a storage room, but it was a little girl's bedroom, and I think this hints at some paranormal activity, which is 100% my vibe. If you don't know, I'm very much into the paranormal and supernatural, so I love me a ghost story. So the next, 4 are just more general reads that I have and would like to read, if not this fall, before the year is over. The first of which is Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty, which is the final book in the Daevabad trilogy. This book is huge. For why, Shannon? So I recently, if you don't know, got into this series so heavily. In fact, I just uploaded my Owlcrate unboxing for the series for this book. This particular book was a birthday gift, so thank you, Sasha. If you're watching, I don't know if you are. I don't even know if you're subscribed to my channel, but this book's so big, and I can't wait to see how this whole saga ends and everything that's about to happen and hurt me. Everything. It's gonna hurt. I know. It's fine though. I can't wait to see how Nari and Ali's story concludes. What? What? Oh, hi, Harry. The next 2 came out on the same day, so I'm going to show you them together. They are Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. My Grown earrings just came in the mail yesterday for my pre-order campaign, and Each of Us a Desert by Marco Shiro. I read Anger is a Gift a couple months ago. I fell in love with it, fell in love with Mark's writing, so I can't wait to see what is done with a fantasy. If I hear one more train, and we all know that Tiffany D. Jackson can do absolutely no wrong in my eyes. She is golden, and she gave us a golden book. This is going to mess me up, and I'm 100% ready for it. I'm not ready for it, but like I'm ready for it. Tiffany is like my fiction queen, you know? And I'm manifesting this right now. When my book launches, I want her to moderate the panel. I've already put it in my little, what's it called, vision board journal type situation. Her and Nick Stone. Speaking of Nick, Dear Justice just came out yesterday. I'm waiting for my copies to arrive. That has nothing to do with anything, but I also love Nick with my whole heart, so. And the last one I want to talk about is Jesus Christ, is another book I've been putting off for some reason. I don't love myself, apparently. And it is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. I will never, ever, ever get over how gorgeous this cover is. And I need to read the book. I just need to read this book, like, already. Also, I'm promised a cinnamon roll love interest. Yes. I also think that the love interest has, like, severe anxiety, so I'm really interested to see how that is done in a fantasy, a YA fantasy. Like, we see it in contemporary novels, but I'm really curious to see how that comes about in a fantasy. Also because I don't remember what I was going to say, never mind. So those are my top books that I'd like to read during this fall, cozy, spooky season. The time where I am most alive. Let me know what some books you're hoping to get to during this time is. If you've read any of these books or are planning to read any of these books, let me know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like me, feel free to subscribe. All my places are down here so you can follow me, and I'll follow you back, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.